Hi everyone, welcome to Philosophical Perspectives on the Pandemic. Today we have with us Charu Thapliyal, and thank you so much, Charu, for joining us. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the first question: what is your domain of research, Charu?
Thank you so much for having me here. I'll just quickly tell you about my research. I'm working on a classical Indian text called the Yog Vashisht, which is essentially this really big book. It consists of some 32,000 shloks, and it is an account of a conversation between Prince Ram and his guru, sage Vashisht. So Ram is 16 years old in the book, Prince Ram, and he travels the world and he comes back and he goes through something similar to what Prince Siddhartha did, in that he starts getting all these questions about things he had never thought before. Why is there suffering in the world? Why is there old age? Why do some people have more? Why do some people have less? What is the point of it all? What are we all here for? So he sort of has this existential crisis, which is very common amongst teenagers. It's great to know that this was happening 2000 years back as well. So he has this kind of existential crisis, and then Sage Vashisht, through the means of parables and stories and metaphors, instead of giving him lectures on, instead of giving him his answers through lectures, he gives him his answers through stories, through the means of storytelling. And through these stories, enlightenment slowly dawns on Prince Ram about all these questions that he has had. So what I am essentially doing is I am looking at the subtext of the philosophy of meditation, Adhyatma Yoga or Dhyan Yoga in this text, the Yoga Vashisht.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. Let's go to that. Covers also about the specific research you're doing, I guess. Would you like to say more about anything about your specific research, or we can move to the next question about the pandemic? Is that fine?
We can move to the next question because it's all related.
Right. Okay. So, so the next question: has philosophy helped you during the pandemic, and if yes, then in what ways?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I really think one of the best things I did was probably study philosophy at a formal level, because I got introduced to so many great minds. This year has been a very strange year, very difficult year. We've had, on one hand, we've had a global pandemic. On the other hand, we have political upheaval. We've had, almost to the extent of having race riots. We've had natural disasters. So there's been a lot for people to think about. Even though people are inside their homes, even when they're safe, we still have issues of mental health that are coming up. So it seemed like there was nowhere people could run this year, and the only place they could go was inside. Like literally, you could be inside your home, but you also had to have that reflective consciousness in you, because you had so much time. Everyone had so much time on their hands this year, and philosophy, having that background in philosophy, really helped me understand what other people did when they were faced with similar situations, when they were faced with similar questions, and how they successfully overcame these situations, overcame themselves in these situations to move ahead. So, what I'll tell three practical things that I did drawing from Indian philosophy, which is again my domain. So the first thing that I did was dhyan. So dhyan, coming from the philosophy of yoga, I did regular meditation every day. It really helped me center myself, especially in times when all this news is coming in from social media, from all these platforms, newspaper, the TV. Because every day it was becoming, there was a lot of negative information being bombarded. So meditating every day really helped me center myself. Second practical thing I did was Sajjan Sangatya, drawing from Buddhist philosophy of the Sangha, making a Sangha. So even though I could not go out, even though I could not meet people, but interactions like these, what we're having right now, what we're doing right now is a Sajjan Sangatya session. We're meeting the Sangha, meeting like-minded people, keeping yourself in that positive, uplifting zone, and looking beyond the temporary situations of the time at the moment. And the third practical thing I did was Swadhyay, drawing from the philosophy of Jainism, which essentially means reading. So, like I said, I read up on what different people did to overcome these situations, and I tried to draw lessons from their life into my own. So yeah, these are three practical things I did.
That sounds really great. The last question: can we relate your research to the pandemic, and if yes, then in what ways?
Right. So I thought it was serendipity which brought this research into my this area of research into my lab, because I just joined my PhD in January, and then in March everyone um, like had to be in lockdown. So like I mentioned, Prince Ram is somebody who's going through sort of I will not say a teenage crisis, but really like an existential crisis. And uh, the text is really meant for somebody like Prince Ram, in whom the reflective consciousness has dawned in. So you are questioning, but you do not have the wisdom to answer those questions right now. So the text really kind of was in that sweet spot where I think I personally found myself in when all of this was happening, and I didn't have the answers to a lot of things that were happening in the world. Similarly, a lot of people, like I said, because we could not go anywhere, we had to go in the homes. And this year was really a year of reflection for a lot of people. So I think this text really, when I read through it, when I read through the stories, when I read through, when I read through the subtext, it really helped me understand. And I'm still understanding. I just read the text a couple of times. Of course, it's just been 6 months since I started this work, but talking about it with, again, having this Sajjan Sangati session, talking about it with people like you, it gives me more and more insight into what is this grand experiment called life on Earth all about.
Yes, that's really sounds so great. Thank you so much.